So today we're going to look at the Toshiba T3200SX. It's a machine that came out from Toshiba in 1989, and while it is quite large, it does have some benefits. First of all, we don't have a stupid power pack to deal with. It takes mains right in the back. There's no battery, and even though it's really heavy and there's no battery, it's still a portable. What makes it brilliant was this was a 386. This wasn't some cute 8088 toy. It's proper 386. Had ISA cards in the back, it had an IDE hard drive and a 1.4 meg floppy. This literally was a desktop replacement. There was no real compromises towards a normal desktop with this. There's a little bit less expandability, but for the most part you could use this as your daily machine and it would be just as fast as the guy next to you with his Desk Pro. So this one here has 1 meg of RAM, just enough to run Windows 3.1. Although I've removed it from this machine just because it wasn't really practical. On the T3200 I do have Windows running, just because that's got 5 megs of RAM. It's just much nicer. Anyway, I'll absolutely love this thing. It's been a utility for me for a very long time. On the left hand side we've got 16 and 8-bit ISA slots, and that's just enough for networking and sound. The network card's currently pulled out of this, but I've got the sound card installed and it's great for playing a few games. I've got some speakers plugged in, so we fire this baby up and you can see what she looks like. Now the main screen's plasma, but she actually is colour VGA. So if you hook up an external display you get full colour. You do 640 by 480, it's no problem at all. It's loading TCP/IP, because yeah, I did actually used to have this on the network, so you could browse the internet and stuff. Not very well, but you could. So this is direct access. This is a menu tool I try to put on all my DOS machines, just because it was my favourite back in the 90s, and it's still my favourite now. It's very easy to use and very easy to customise. So, let's have a look at the hard drive configuration. Now on here I've got Norton Utilities, all the usual stuff. Fast links 2, which is very important, and Star Commander. Now you got a Commodore 64, you need to write a disk. Easiest way is you make yourself a cable. Star Commander does a tremendous job, and I use this laptop for creating my Commodore 64 disks as well. Just another little utility I use it for. One of my favourite utilities of all time, Extrude Gold. It's basically the go-to if you're running a DOS machine. We have a lot of stuff on here, but there's also a D drive, and I think that's because this machine originally shipped with MS-DOS 3.2. Back when this was new, you had the choice of DOS 4 or DOS 3.2, and people were scared of DOS 4, so a machine coming with DOS 3.2 is quite normal. It's currently running DOS 5, and the reason that I suspect 3.2 is because they've partitioned the hard drive, and older versions of DOS don't support partitions bigger than 32 meg, so 40 meg hard drive makes sense. Now if you do get one of these with a bung hard drive, be very careful, because the BIOS does a couple of checks. I mean, one, it needs to be the right cylinders, heads and sectors as one of the built-in drive types if you don't want to modify it. But the other thing is, people have been saying that basically it checks the product code on the hard drive. So, you know, when you do an auto detect and you get Connor peripherals CP something, apparently it checks for the CP. So if you put in another drive, even if it's the same specs from another manufacturer, there's a good chance that it's not going to talk to it. So there's a few things to keep in mind if you are replacing the hard drive. It is, however, standard IDE, and you probably can hack the BIOS to accept anything else. But what a lot of people were doing was basically you get like a 500 meg Connor or a 300 meg Connor, shove that in it, and then just use a tool, whether it's any drive or you hack the BIOS or whatever you need to do, or a drive overlay, and the machine, it will detect the CP hard drive. As long as there's enough cylinders, heads and sectors, it should be fine and pass through. It's a bit boring for somebody that doesn't own one of these, but if you do, little bits of information like that are very helpful. Speaking of which, now under this keyboard here we have a series of SIM slots. It is very, very, very picky about memory. To the point that I went through about 50 different types of SIMs, and I only found one set that worked, and one of those SIMs failed the self-test, which is unfortunate. So basically I've given up on trying to expand the memory. So if you are getting one of these and you do want to run Windows 3.1 on it, make sure it's got the expanded memory. It does have 384K standard, but that's not quite enough, and it's definitely not enough for Windows for Workgroups with networking, so keep that in mind as well. Don't expect to open the keyboard to run some sims and have RAM, because it's not that easy with this. The floppy drive is also a custom interface. It's the old 26-pin Citizen, and there's lots of those drives out there, but most of them are quarter height or a third height, and this is a full-sized 3.5-inch floppy. And so far the only replacements I've been able to find are very, very expensive. But anyway, enough of this crap. Let us get on with a game. Command prompt actually isn't a game, but Wolfenstein 3D is. Let's detect the sound blaster. Now hopefully I've actually put oh, we have. So yeah, it's quite capable. You play all your favourite DOS games on, like Commander Keen, all that sort of stuff. You see the sound blaster sounds fine. Hopefully you can hear it. But anyway, this little thing has been an absolute charm to own. And if you do find one in good condition like this, I absolutely recommend it. Yeah, you got all your normal ports. You've got your serial, you got your parallel, you got 2 ISA slots, and they're full length. One of them's full length as well, so you can actually squeeze in one full length card in the whole back of it. And yeah, I think these are awesome. Other models like the T3200 are good. The only thing I watch out for is some of the earlier models, particularly the ones that had CGA, and that they quite often have proprietary hard drives, things that in either now or in 5 years or 10 years are just going to be impossible to replace. And because of that limitation, I would personally avoid those machines, or if you do keep them, try to find ways of preserving their life as long as possible. I've just been using this as a workhorse, and it's been fantastic. We did have some random crashes at one point, and it turned out to be a loose keyboard connector. It's about the only bad thing I can say about the machine. Not once has it gone bang, not once has it produced smoke. It's just worked really, really, really well. So I can't say much more about it. If you do have any questions though, feel free to ask. Something's in here like print shop. Oh, one other thing, it's got a keyboard connector on the side. Now this one's had it cut off. It's blocked up because I guess it was an option you had to pay extra money for. But the interesting thing is when you do open it, or at least on mine, I found the actual keyboard connector, everything was actually there. The only thing that's stopping me from plugging in an external keypad is the piece of plastic. And if I break that off, my machine's upgraded for free. I thought that was a little bit funny of Toshiba. You pay for an upgrade and someone just smashes out a piece of plastic. But yeah. But yeah, love it. I'll see you next time.